Rob, what is our first main topic today?
John, our first main topic comes from Bob Chapek.
Wow, Bobby, watching the show. Thank you, Bob.
John, it seems that you aren't the only person who hates the Munsters trailer because Universal must as well. Director Rob Zombie revealed on Instagram that the film will be dumped on Netflix in September. As we know, Universal has their own streaming service, Peacock, and they didn't even dump it on there. John, why would they sell this to Netflix when it could make $1 billion? And how sad are you that you can't watch this cinematic Munsterpiece in theaters?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chapek, for writing that. Hey, listen, first thing I want to say right at the top is this. I haven't seen the Munsters. I mean, and as garbage as the trailer is, I've seen a lot of garbage trailers that I ended up loving. Look, I thought the first trailers for Harley Quinn was garbage. Absolute dog crap. It's one of my favorite things on TV now. Like, we all have a big, long list. And yes, I think the Munsters trailer is total refuse. It's awful. But I haven't seen the movie. For all I know, I'm going to watch this movie like others that I've seen bad trailers to, and maybe I'll think it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It happens, right? So I cannot criticize the Munsters movie. I can't criticize it. I haven't seen it. I can just say it looks terrible, because it does look awful, but I've seen lots of things that I thought looked awful that I ended up loving. So let's just say that right up front. But I ain't going to surprise. I ain't going to lie. I mean, it was shocking to me when I saw the news yesterday that this was getting dumped on Netflix. I just couldn't believe it. Like, they had talked about a theatrical release, and then you figure, barring that, they'd put it on Peacock. But apparently they didn't even want it there. Now, listen, not everything made by a studio will necessarily go to that studio streaming service. We've seen other examples of that, right? So it's not like this is the only time something like this has happened. But it's on the rarer side of things to see. Anyway, this comes to us from the folks over at Screen Rant who wrote the following. It was suggested that Universal was scouting a September theatrical release window for the movie. On Monday, Zombie took to Instagram to announce that the Munsters will be available to stream on Netflix. It's not clear if there were always plans to commission the movie for a streaming release, or if it were the harsh reactions to the Munsters trailer that caused the change of plans. Perhaps fans were expecting something different from the movie than what was shown in the trailer, but not much can be done now, save for sprucing up some of the visual quality. The response to the Munsters isn't a good sign for its future, but hopefully the streaming availability will earn the movie the audience it deserves. Who says it deserves it? But anyway, we'll get the audience it deserves. Look, there is a thought going around, Rob, that this is, just like they wrote in the article there, that this is being dumped on Netflix is a direct response to the reactions to the trailer, which have been deservingly bad. Mm-hmm. But you and I both know that this industry moves slow.
Yes, it does.
Especially in corporate towers. Things move slow. And I have a hard time believing that within a week ago, less than a week ago, the Munsters trailer came out. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I'm having a hard time believing that the decision was, we're going to put this thing in theaters. And then within days they're like, oh my God, drop this thing on Netflix. So I have a feeling it was a longer process than that. Because remember, the folks, these executives, we like to pretend like they're all morons. Really, they're not. They saw this trailer long before we did. They knew exactly what they had. They knew exactly how we would react to it. So I have a feeling this is probably longer in the works than not. So I don't personally subscribe to the idea that it's just being dumped on Netflix because the audience reacted badly to the trailer. Although, it's possible. I personally still can't get over they didn't at least put it on Peacock. And I'm sure there's probably a good business reason why. But you'd think in the era of the streaming wars where it's all about exclusive content, and you got a piece of exclusive content right here, you'd think they put it on there. But I was a little bit surprised to hear that. Anyway, Rob, you hear about this story. We've been talking about this Munsters thing for a while now, but what do you make of this development?
John, well, first of all, the synopsis of this movie has the Munsters. It talks about them traveling to Hollywood.
Right.
And there is a theory that this is a bit of a troll. And when I first saw this trailer, I didn't understand the fonts. I'm like, what is this font expanding? It looked like it was direct-to-video font from a erotic thriller starring Shannon Tweed from like 1994. I'm like, what is this font?
There's a name that I haven't heard pop out once in a while.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, what if this is a trailer for the movie within the movie of the Munsters? Because then I'm like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We talked about it. And I think the general consensus was that maybe that's part of it. We just don't know yet. Hope that that's the case. Don't know if that's true because it's bad.
Can I just mention something quick here?
Yeah, please.
So our friend, Cliff Stevenson,
Yes.
who actively works in the industry and was on our last episode of Best Movie, Worst Movie. I was speaking to him on the phone last night, and I brought that up. I said, maybe this is a troll. And here's what Cliff said. He goes, it can't be. And I said, why? He goes, it's one thing to do a troll like that, but you have to follow that up within 24 hours.
Right.
He said, the problem is, if this is a troll, this troll has now buried the project because it's been a week that the world has been talking about how bad this is. Like, you got to put that out and then within 24 hours follow it up with, just kidding. And so like, that's made me a little bit dubious.
It's actually working reverse for me. And I was just telling the chat that I'm going to watch this. It's just my curiosity.
You and Amy both.
And if it's a bad movie, then you know what? It's a bad movie, but I'm kind of getting excited for this movie for some reason.
If we go even further, Ray, is there any synergy between the fact they announced it's going to Netflix and the Netflix earnings are going to come out today?
Oh, well, that's going to change everything. The
Yeah.
Munsters is going to save Netflix.
No, I have never, to be honest, I've never been I love Rob Zombie's music, like we talked.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
His film, I guess I get House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects, a throwback to like 70s exploitation movies and all that. I get that. Not a fan of what he did with Halloween and a lot of his other films. Not my taste. Let's put it that way. This, though, however, this looks like a misfire of major proportions to me. And I'm curious as to how he could do this. That's what I don't understand. He obviously grew up loving it. And John, I want to like this project.
You will.
I want to.
Oh,
You will. Oh, you will.
When we watch it here.
Yeah,
Live.
I mean,
Live reaction.
If there's ever something that we should watch and do a watch along,
It's this.
It's this. I mean, my God, I just don't know what to make of it. All I know is that really, like Netflix, if you ever needed Netflix to verify that perhaps they'll acquire just about anything. What is it? Netflix, you're greenlit.
Yeah, that's a great South Park episode.
I mean, this is it right here.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you make of this situation? We now know that The Munsters is not going to theaters and it's not even going to be on Peacock. It's going to Netflix. Are you surprised with that? Maybe you're not surprised with that. Hey, listen, maybe you're like, hey, listen, hope springs eternal. This could be great.
I do have to point out, though, that we do have the Addams Family show Wednesday.
Yes.
So now you're going to have the Munsters and the Addams Family coming back for you retro fans of...
Which Zombie posted about on social media.
Yeah.
Now, these both are coming out, except one looks significantly better than the other. But
Ooh, boy.
We'll see. Anyway, guys, whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of today's video, Storyblocks. Guys, I have been an enthusiastic fan and user of Storyblocks for years. I go to them whenever I'm in need of content creation assets like royalty-free music, video clips, or templates for my creative projects, ranging anywhere from little editorial videos to my very own full-feature documentary. Storyblocks helps you bring your stories, videos, and projects to life without sacrifices due to time, budget, or access to resources. They have over 1 million different story assets ranging from stock videos, audio and music, an in-browser video editor, and they feature pre-designed templates, animations, and outros. Storyblocks uses an affordable subscription model, and their unlimited access plans offers, unlimited video and audio downloads rather than a costly pay-per-clip model. With Storyblocks, you'll be able to create more content and, more importantly, better content, all while using a subscription plan that fits your budget, utilizing unlimited downloads of demand-driven and diverse content. So if you're interested in upping your content creation game, head over to www.storyblocks.com/Campea and get started today. That's www.storyblocks.com/Campea.